you actually work out on a regular basis? That's not bad. And then, how many of you actually tried high-intensity interval training? Do you guys like it? Okay, that's good. So let me give you my background. I come from the dark side. Everyone has insurance companies, but we did actually some interesting work in terms of trying to help our members stay healthy. And then I made a transition to SK Telecom, building sensor-based network with some back-end informatics. Now I made a transition to the good side, so I'm trying to find ways to help you stay healthy. So I used to run a lot after realizing that I couldn't even outrun my boss, who was a petite lady, at a company picnic. So that was really embarrassing. So I started stair climbing at work, and that was really good. This is my workout pattern in terms of 20 hours a day and about 1.5 years. And all the blue dots, this means that I ran long distance. So what I'm trying to show you is I loved running long distance. And this is my weight fluctuation over time. So you can see my weight stayed the same. But the problem is that I just don't have a lot of time to devote to long distance running these days. And running was getting a little bit boring these days. So the question was, how can I squeeze more efficiency out of my workout? And how do I measure my progress? So those are the questions that I kept asking myself. So what I know is that I talked to a lot of folks who have knee problems, and they told me not to run marathon or long distance running. And second, variety is good. I used to enjoy cycling a lot, but a lot of pedometers, they don't give you credit for cycling. So these are the sensors that we have in mind. So there's a 24 activity tracking device, and of course smartphone applications using gyros, accelerometers. And what's different is that we have effect sensors that measure your progress. So body composition analyzer, blood pressure, digital scale, all of those. So you can use those sensors to create this type of a solution in that a lot of people don't know that when they're running, their stride length changes as a function of your speed. So we did this type of calibration as a function of your height in centimeters and gender to come up with these regression functions, so you don't even have to enter your stride length for walk and run. And the way we are doing is segmentation based on continuous activities. So this is one activity. This might be walk to the bathroom, and this could be something other than that. So basically, we are trying to find your activity DNA. So people are different in terms of what they prefer to do, and then create some interesting applications based on activity DNA matching. So this is our passive raw sensor data, accelerometers, 3 different activities, running, elliptical, and then cycling. And this is from gyro. The question is, can we give you one device that gives you credit for all of your activities? So I can go back to cycling. So this is the activity classification decision in terms of elliptical, walk, and cycling. So you can actually see that it made a decent job in terms of classifying all of your activities on a frame-by-frame basis. And then when you do post-processing, you can do a fairly decent job. So let me talk about what I did differently using all of these sensors and technologies. And also, what I also realized was, when I work out with my friends, I tend to enjoy activities more. So that's what I'm trying to implement into my daily activities. So this is how I used to work out, in that there are different intensities assigned to different colors. So that this is my half marathon. You can see the statistics right on the top. So my run, walk, run, slow down, walk, and then finish really strong. But now, what I'm doing is run really fast, run slow, really fast, and slow. And I do it only for 25 minutes, not for 1.5 hours or 2 hours. And then I combine resistance training. So whenever I travel, I try to find the hotel with this kind of equipment, kinesis machine. And this is my local gym, so I have a support and sort of a kinesis machine, so that's what I do. So let me show you the change. My weight hasn't changed all that much, about the same, but look at what happened to my body fat. Started going down. And my muscle, although I look kind of I don't look it, I actually have a lot of muscle. And this is the social network impact. So we did a clinical trial with Peace Health, and this is your social network size in terms of number of friends and role models you have. And this is your activities measured in steps per day. And you can see amount of time you could increase in function.
Why is that the case?
I'll explain. So lessons learned. I like doing different activities, not just running. And second, getting credit for all my activities gives me extra motivation to do cycling and other types of activities. And then I need to see progress with my own eyes. So the question really boils down to be social, and if you want efficiency, try high intensity interval training, and don't forget resistance training just because you are busy, because that really helps you. Thank you.
We have questions for Dave?
Why does social help?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's not just a social network. What we did was, I mean, you are familiar with the work by Christiakis and Fowler, in that if you are overweight or obese, you tend to be surrounded by similar friends. So what we did was, when we ran a clinical trial, we tried to find people who used to be like you, but have been able to improve fitness by doing all the right things. And then we try to introduce them as a change agent into your network. So what you're seeing in our social graph is that we see an emergence of influencers who actually help other people become healthier. So that's basically what we do in terms of connecting the right people to you so that you can grow your network.
Thanks.
I just wondered if you would be able to share the classifier that you used for your activity graphs.
Okay. Well, because we don't have a lot of CPU and we wanted to make the battery last long, we used the simplest classification algorithm, which was a multivariate Gaussian. Yeah. So it doesn't cost that much computational power, so we could run at like 16% of peak CPU efficiency.
Dave, I was curious about one thing. In one of your early slides, you said you wanted to change your exercise routine from basically running for hours on end to something else, and part of the reason was that running was no longer fun. And that, so the question is your new routine more fun? And is there some way that you're tracking how fun your different activities are? Are you keeping a log, or how are you discovering?
Yeah, I mean, what you saw was my 24-hour activity pattern presented over 1.5 years. So what I'm doing right now is I check for consistency in terms of my daily activities. And then second, what I also track is basically how often I exercise with my friends. Not just inside a gym, but outside playing either tennis or basketball. So those are the kinds of things I keep track of. And what I know is that after I started interval training, I feel much better. And I have more energy, and at the same time, I can spend more time working on interesting problems.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that a little bit. The slide I found really interesting about your networks of friends and obviously the increase of activity. How did you quantify that? What do you actually measure in terms of your interactions with friends?
Yeah, so the way we measure interactivity is through a score called social reputation score. It's based on open currency. And what we measure is the level of communications between you and your friends, and the level of influence you have on your friends in terms of improving, let's say, their health. So we developed this proxy called Wellness Meter. And it's based on those 5 essential well-being components, but of course we could include your financial well-being or job well-being. So except those two, we include all of the parameters. And we also took into consideration how long it took for you to, let's say, accept friends or role model requests, a lot of those.
Is there a negative influence of friends?
Actually, that's a good question with maybe a future research subject. But what we're trying to quantify right now is the absorption or diffusion index in terms of, let's say you introduce someone with high social reputation score, how long does it take for that person's influence to be spread to the rest of friends in the network?
Yes.
How was the transition from doing these like kind of long, medium intensity workouts to changing this workout style to doing something that was much more intense? What differences did you feel about your workout experience?
Okay, so what's the difference between running marathon at medium speed versus doing this type of high intensity interval?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, for me, right. So what I do when I run is I measure my heart rate. And then what I also keep track of is, let's say I run for an hour, and then I do cool down walk at 3.5 miles per hour, and I measure how long it takes for my heart rate to drop from, let's say, 160 to 120. And I also measure my maximum heart rate. And when I was running marathon, my heart rate would stay at about 155, 160. That's at about somewhere between 7.5 to 8.3 miles per hour, depending on how I feel. But when I run this high intensity interval training, I alternate between 5 and 10 miles per hour. So my peak heart rate is about 180. And then what I also noticed was that my heart rate transitions from, let's say, 160, 170 to 120 much faster. So that's how I measure my progress. And some things I noticed.
Well, let's thank Dave.